Babs, my name is Nye McGee with EURweb.com. It is such a pleasure to speak with you, sir. I had the privilege of watching this film last week and I loved it. I've been
Thank
telling
you.
everybody, go see this movie. I love this movie so much. Can you tell us about your character in the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare and what drew you to this role?
My character is Richard Herron, and Richard Herron is a covert operative. He's an undercover agent for the SOE of the British Empire. And yeah, it's an exciting character. He is sort of on this West African island, setting up the Nazis to get their just desserts, So yeah, it's a wonderful role and very excited about it.
The reason why I love this, I love the action sequences, I love the political intrigue, and I especially love the eye candy and the masculinity that's on full display with this cast. I couldn't get enough of that. So, what was your initial reaction when you read this script?
The script was actually, I like the script quite a bit, but the script and what we see in the film is quite different because, Guy is, at this point quite notorious for, uh, giving you new pages on the day, as in the morning in his trailer. And it's like, yeah, no, Babs, forget that scene, forget that dialogue. This is what we're going to be doing. And that was practically every day. So, what has come out of it is not necessarily what was on the page before, but certain filmmakers do that. And Guy has done it brilliantly well with this. But I was excited about the period, World War II, get into, which was a horrific time for a lot of people, and to be able to work on a period piece, a historical period piece, in this kind of capacity was very, very attractive.
Obviously, Guy Ritchie is known for his unique style and
Mm,
approach to filmmaking.
mm,
So, how would you describe not only the creative energy that he brings to the set, but what was
mm.
it like working with your co-stars, Henry and Alan?
Well, I mean, first of all, I worked with Henry. I worked with Henry more towards the the end of the film, towards the end of shooting, really. Alan, I didn't get to particularly work with, and I worked mostly with Eiza, Gonzalez, and Eiza and I sort of opened the shooting of the film. It was just her and I with Guy for practically the first 2, 3 weeks of shooting. And so, we had like almost like a whole other film going compared to the other guys because they're on this ship and whatnot. But I really got to see and feel Guy in a different way, in a more intimate way than I did doing Wrath of Man with him, the previous film that I had worked on for him. So he was very, very excited, and you could just see his creative juices flowing, even when you're like, what? We're not going to do the scene and the dialogue like that, but I can see you're really excited and I can see you're committed to coming up with something different. And, so I love that about, working with Guy this time around. He was just, he loves this period of time. And he was just really, really, the only way I can describe it is like watching somebody, the juices are flowing, and he's literally just salivating at what is being created, what could be created. At one moment he's like, no, that's shit, and then he'll find something else and he'll give you that. And, it's like, that's it, he was very, very excited making this film, and that was like a joy to watch, because it's always a joy to watch when you see somebody that's passionate about the work they're doing. In terms of for the character, I really sort of thought of the black men of the period, and actually more the black men after that period, because it makes sense that those after that period were taking inspiration from those that came before them, so the Mr. Sidney Poitier, the Harry Belafontes, the giants, that had a certain manner of speaking, a certain way they carry themselves, the great Paul Robeson, I I I sort of looked at those men, I remember Sidney Poitier saying, he used to listen to this particular, radio station to like work his speech and his language and whatnot, so yeah, so I took inspiration from that, and this was it was a role that I prepared an RP accent for, uh, a British accent for, and Guy, on the first day, he was just like, even before we started shooting, he was like, Babs, I quite like the way you sound, I just want, you sound very, very different, unique, international, blah, blah, blah. I just want, I just want that, and then of course, all the work I'd done was gone in 30 seconds. And I then simply tried to take my voice back to that time period and modified it as much as I could to bring something truthful to the screen, and yeah, and then it was just about the daredevilness and the calmness of somebody that would take upon a job like that, a mission like that. Somebody that says, I will go in underground and I will be there setting up this casino and I will get in business deals with these guys, with these Nazis, just as a, as a money hungry person, but in reality, I am doing work that will bring them to some sort of justice. So yeah, so it was a thrill to prepare for it,
What do you hope audiences will take away from this film, especially in terms of its, relevance to contemporary society?
That at one point in time, and justifiably so, Nazis were not supposed to be embraced. Nazis will wreck your world. You could call yourself alt-right, you could call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, but if you're doing Nazi work, you should be treated like a Nazi. So in this day and age, we must not lose sight of that your grandfathers, your granduncles, your grandmothers, people sacrificed their lives to take these people down. And you must be ready to do that again.
Very good. Babs, thank you so much for giving me your time. Once again,
Thank
as
you,
I sign off, congratulations to everyone with this film. Guy
yeah.
Ritchie did the damn thing. I love this movie. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Nye. April 19th, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Right on.